while male warriors wear long braids dyed with red clay. Community leaders wore the most elaborate hairstyles, and only the ruler wore a headdress. Crowns were made from leather, gold, beads, and fancy braids. Priests also have worn hairstyles that set them apart from other community members. Young women may wear styles that show they are open to marriage, whereas married women's hairstyles show they are unavailable. Before marriage, Igbo girls in present-day Nigeria traditionally used clay, ground coil, and palm oil to shape their hair into a horn shape that bends toward their brows. Girls in Senegal may wear braids and whimsical styles, while married women have plainer, covered styles. In Kenya, young Turkana men spend hours getting elaborate hairstyles that show they have completed the initiation rites for adulthood. Among some ancient societies, African men wore their hair in a distinctive style when they were about to go to war. This signaled their families to prepare for a possible death. Since ancient times, hairdressers have enjoyed a high status in traditional African cultures, and hair grooming time was sociable. In most communities, including those in Ghana and Senegal, hairdressers work only with members of their own gender. Hairdressing, which might be done daily, involves cleansing, then combing, oiling, and styling into various braids, wraps, curls, twists, or other shapes, sometimes with decorative accessories. In other words, hair was a sacred event. This veneration and importance of hair was observed throughout the continent. One African creation myth from the San people of Namibia is testament to the spiritual unity all Africans have concerning the attitude about their hair. It goes as follows. In the beginning, there was just emptiness except for the supreme god Pishoboro. However, his sudden death resulted in the creation of the world. According to legend, he was bitten by a cosmic fish and died. Blood gushed from his wounds, creating rocks and hills, and the thrashing of his body carved out valleys. The water poured from his body formed rivers and streams, and his hair became the clouds, which life-giving rain fell. After Pishoboro resurrected himself, he created humans. They were perfect in his eyes, but something was missing. They had no hair. So Pishoboro gave humans hair, and it was then that humanity was born. You see, the very swirls and curls we see in the universe is reflected in Afro-textured hair, giving us character and in some ways even bringing us closer to perfection and even the idea of divinity. From an African perspective, humans didn't become complete until they received their hair. Hair had a very special spiritual significance in Africa. Many African cultures saw the head as a center of control, communication, and identity in the body. Hair was regarded as a source of power that personified the individual and could be used for spiritual purposes. Since it rests on the highest point of the body, hair itself was a means to communicate with divine spirits, and it was treated in ways that were thought to bring good luck or ward off evil. According to authors Ayanna Bird and Laurie Tharps, communication from the gods and spirits was thought to pass through the hair to get to the soul. In the Cameroon, for example, medicine men attached hair to containers that held their healing potions in order to protect the potions and enhance their effectiveness. Hair also has strong social and sexual connotations. Most societies regard long, thick, neatly styled hair on a young woman as a sign of health, respectability, and fertility, qualities that make them desirable mates. In traditional African cultures, both men and women groomed their hair, and unkept hair was a sign of illness, mourning, or antisocial behavior. One of the dopest hairstyles I've seen from African men has to come from the Tutsi people of Rwanda. This hairstyle is unique because one can make the argument that this style can be just as relevant today as it was in ancient times. It's called the Amasunzu. The Amasunzu hairstyle is characterized by styling the hair in crest. It's frequently described as crescent-shaped, and it's indicative of Tutsi social status. In fact, men who didn't rock this style were looked at with suspicion until fairly recently. And honestly, we simply can't ignore the fact that it looks like the royal blue crown or the kepresh of ancient Egypt. No matter your position on the matter, the similarities cannot be denied. Many customs throughout Africa relate to the spiritual aspect of African hair. For example, during the naming ceremony that takes place 7 or 9 days after birth, the Yoruba may shave a baby's head to mark its passage from the spirit world into the world of the living. The shaved hair may be used in good luck charms or healing tonics. A dead person's head is shaved to mark the passage from this world to the next. Among the Akan of Ghana, however, women and men who are most closely related to a dead person shave their heads and bodies as a sign of respect. Certain groups use hairs from the deceased or from their relatives in the funeral rites. One of the first dehumanizing things done to an African once he or she was enslaved was to shave their hair. The shaving of the head symbolized the ripping of your culture and identity, and even relieved you of the power to define yourself. How ironic is that even today we see similar dehumanizing practices perpetuated on Afro-descended people. Well, I'm all out, guys. Our hair is unique and special, but more importantly, it's for us and by us. Our ancestors have already defined its value. There isn't anywhere we need to look for beauty except for within ourselves. If you like these videos and want to support in its continued production, you can do so on patreon.com. The link is in the description box below. Know thyself. Remember your ancestors. Peace.
Hey y'all, I'm going to post that video in the Facebook group so you can see the hairstyles. If you're not part of the Facebook group, you can go to the end of the bench, or you can go to Brothers Gonna Work It Out, or you can go to Build for This Network. Either way, Brothers Gonna Work It Out or the end of the bench. I will be posting the video in all 3 spots so you can enjoy your heritage, continue to be a better person spiritually, emotionally, and financially, thanks to Jasm. Thank you guys for listening again. And again, 2 fingers, 1 word, I'm out.
It's that Mad Knox music.
We are the Build for This Network, for the strong, not the weak. And this is our weekly lineup. On Mondays, the #1 chief rocker, Jersey Burn, brings you that recap entertainment show. On Tuesdays, the attack is on hip hop throwback with the crown holder, DJ Mad Knox. Followed by the end of the big show with Chi-Town's finest, T.E.O.D.B. On Wednesdays, the brothers gonna work it out. I'm talking about the brothers of the #1 chief rocker, Jersey Burn, and T.E.O.D.B. On Thursdays, the theory of the culture show, straight talk, no chaser, with Chiz Roundtree and DJ Mad Knox. Followed by the two-step king, Jersey's finest, DJ Dean, opens up his groove house. And on Fridays, the crown holder, DJ Mad Knox, get your weekends right with the Build for This Friday mix. We are Build for This Network, for the strong, not the weak. You understand what it is?